So I'm a Celtics fan, and there is nothing more that I would love than for this team to go on a deep playoff run, and while there are some things about these guys that I do like, I also have some concerns that I feel could really come out in a playoff series. But we can start with the positives first, and a huge positive is Isaiah Thomas. Last season, Isaiah was very good for Boston, albeit a little inefficient, but his ability to beat guys off the dribble, get inside, and be the force and the starting plug of this team's offense was great as they went on to win 48 games. This season has been a revelation for Isaiah, as he's up to around 30 points a game, his efficiency is through the roof, and he's also getting to the free throw line quite a bit as he is averaging about 9 free throw attempts a game, and Isaiah, he does it any which way. He's very effective in the pick and roll. If you want to favor him attacking the basket, then he can just hit a step back jumper on you. If you leave him open for 3, especially in that Celtics offense, you know you're dead. If you go under the screen, well, that's just the worst thing you can possibly do, as he's at 38% from 3. But he also attacks the basket so relentlessly. A guy at his size who just sees guys who are 6, 7 inches taller than him, maybe even more than that, and he just goes in. But there is more to Isaiah than just being a fantastic scorer, if I can say that, and that is his performance in the fourth quarter this season. Labeled the king of the fourth quarter, the ridiculous shots that he has attempted as well as made have been great for the Celtics, and some big comebacks along the way. This one against the Charlotte Hornets where they blew a big lead, but then the little guy just hoists up shots and they just keep on going in. He is right up there with Russell Westbrook for most points in the fourth quarter. And when NBA defenses really lock in, well, Isaiah really just doesn't care. He goes at him, and I would say this personifies that completely as he goes right at Hassan Whiteside, one of the best shot blockers in the NBA today. However, as much as I love Isaiah, there is a counterpoint to this, which is the rest of the guys on the roster. Jay Crowder, Avery Bradley, Al Horford, Amir Johnson. These are all some capable offensive players in the sense of they can play off of a star player like Isaiah Thomas, but none of them can get their own shots off. They have to score within the flow of the offense. They need screens and handoffs and passes to get open, which is fine as they are all talented players, but when we look at the Celtics' competition in the Eastern Conference, this is where I get concerned. The Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. He can do whatever he wants to do offensively. He'll barrel down to the rim. If there's nothing happening, he can hit a step-back three-pointer as his threes have come back this season. But the Cavaliers also have a guy in Kyrie Irving who may not be as good as LeBron, but he can also have some big point totals creating his own shot. Let's go to the Washington Wizards. Led by John Wall, his playmaking is just as dangerous as his scoring will be. You can't leave many guys open against him, but similar to Isaiah, he'll get ahead of steam going to the basket and you really don't have a chance of stopping him. But similar to the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Wizards also have another guy who can get his own points off. That is Bradley Beal, averaging 23 points a game, and he's also able to go one-on-one, and if there's nothing really happening in the offense, well, it's okay, because you can give it to either Wall or Beal, and something can just happen out of nothing. And let's look at the other top team in the East, the Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry just came back. These guys were down quite a bit to the Detroit Pistons, not much time left. Kyle Lowry just goes in and hits a shot over his defender, this time defended by Ish Smith, hits the floater over Andre Drummond. Now Isaiah Thomas can make those sorts of plays for the Celtics, but the Celtics don't have a number 2 guy like DeMar DeRozan, who is actually the Raptors' leading scorer, who will be taking these sort of shots as well. I mean, look, I love Avery Bradley, I love Jay Crowder, I love Al Horford. None of them can make these sorts of plays that DeMar DeRozan is making crunch time consistently, forcing the defense to react to him, going one-on-one, and hitting a big shot with the other top player, Kyle Lowry, just watching. It's going to be a question, when the defense really locks in, how successful are the other guys going to be around Isaiah? But we can also talk about the Celtics' second unit. Jaylen Brown has been getting more minutes as the season has gone along. He's looked very comfortable on both sides of the floor, super athletic, as you can see from these plays here. But are we really going to trust a rookie to be successful in the postseason? I mean, there's a level of play that just increases once the regular season is over. I don't know if a rookie like Jaylen Brown is going to be ready for it. We're just going to have to wait and see. Now, Marcus Smart, he's been struggling a lot lately. He's always got the energy plays, but the majority of the time, this is the result when he tries to put the ball in the basket. I think this team could have a tough time scoring off the bench. Now, Gerald Green, when he's been given the minutes this season, has actually been okay. I hope Brad Stevens gives him those, but he's been up and down all season with his minutes, so I don't know. Kelly Olynyk has also been struggling from 3 lately. He's still efficient from the floor, putting up around 9 or 10 points a game, but if the three-pointer's not falling, then the matchup advantage he gives you, it kind of disappears. All of that isn't even my biggest fear with this team, it's the defense. Last season, the Celtics were the 4th best defensive team in the NBA. Headed by Brad Stevens, their rotations were always there, they knew when to switch, they knew when to help, and this year it just hasn't been the same. They are 15th in defense right now. And it just seems collectively they're just not as invested on that side of the floor. Now, offensively, they've been way better than a lot of people, including me, thought they were going to be. And part of that is, of course, because of Isaiah Thomas, but it's just the little things, you know? Guys are getting off of screens a little quicker than they did last season. The one-on-one defense breaks down in ways that you just didn't expect from this team going into the year, especially with the acquisition of a guy like Al Horford. I mean, I thought they could be the best defensive team in the NBA this season, and it's just been a disappointment. But it's also been inconsistent. Some nights they will have a defensive performance that makes you say, oh yeah, there's the team from last season, and then other times it's just not there at all. You'll see the teams that they're going up against in this video. I mean, there's like the Orlando Magic. These are teams that they should be beating pretty easily, especially when you're going on a playoff run. And while we're seeing the Miami Heat right here, and they've been on a run lately, still, it's just odd for a team that is in a playoff run and trying to secure the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference that the defense just isn't always there. And of course, there's more to defense than simply just efforts. I mean, there is an act of communicating with the rest of your team and knowing the assignments, knowing the scouting report. Perhaps that's where they've faltered this season. I don't know. I'm not inside the locker room, but it just seems like the intensity and the attention to detail that was so strong last season, as these guys were a bit better than the sum of their parts as they won 48 games a year ago, it just doesn't seem to be there this season. It's there sometimes, and when I was mentioning before, I look at this lead to the Charlotte Hornets, up 13 points to a team that's potentially fighting for the 8th seed. They're out of the playoffs now, while you're trying to get the number 1 spot, and you're allowing this team to come back on you? That's just not a good sign going into the postseason, where the intensity is ratcheted up and teams are going to have better game plans and they're going to throw different matchups on you, on top of, like, you're going to be on the road and the crowd is going to be into it and you're going to be down like 4 or 5 points in the third quarter and you have to be able to answer that. It's a bad sign. Now, like I said, it's inconsistencies. At times it comes back. The Celtics last season were fantastic at forcing turnovers. They were 2nd in the NBA. This season they've dipped quite a bit. I'm not saying that team from last season isn't in there. That physical, mean team that wasn't the most talented one, but they just kept on coming at you and they had a team-first mentality. I think that team and that level of focus is still in there, but I mean, it just hasn't come out this entire season. But we're going to have to see once the postseason comes around. But so there you are. The combination of not having a second scorer to help out Isaiah, especially when playoff defenses really lock in, on top of the Celtics defense itself being inconsistent, with the rebounding problems this team has, I definitely have some concerns, but we'll just have to see what happens.